It's about the political costs and the economic costs of what would have been a total government shutdown. Policy analyst Peter Terkper and, of course, political scientist Dr. Ali Dusedu joins me on the line. Let me start with you, Dr. Ali Dusedu. Good afternoon. Right, so we have Mr. Peter Terkper on the line. Mr. Terkper, good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse.
Good afternoon.
Great to have you here. So, I mean, we nearly had a government shutdown today, but around midday, organized labor came out to say that they've suspended the strike, hoping that SSNIT will meet certain demands that they put on the table. But before that, in the morning, at the ministries, in some hospitals, and in some other places, they were observing the strike, bringing a standstill to activity, especially at the governmental level. To what extent do you think, if this should have allowed to stay, would have hurt our economy?
We thank God that indeed the strike has been called off now. In fact, you can see the impact in just a day.
Right.
Where government agencies, institutions have been shut down. Productivity has come to a halt. And this is a national security issue because when it happens like that, people who are looking for certain timelines to be met as a result of services that they require from these agencies. I mean, they will miss these timelines. People who have critical health conditions that also need to be supported with will also miss this. So the impact is huge. And this is an indication that issues concerning labor should not be taken for granted at all. And I think that it is good that labor has called off the strike because the impact this morning has all been felt just within a short period.
So if you want to analyze the few hours that the strike was in force, how many steps has this taken the country back?
In fact, this cannot be quantified in terms of monetary terms immediately. But you can look at on daily basis what goes on within the economy. And so you are looking at the various ministries, you are looking at the court system, you're looking at the medical system, and you're looking at the funds that flow in through institutions every day.
Right.
And so you can say that this has taken us back in terms of millions of cities that might be lost in a day, because if you put all agencies together and you look at monies that are being paid on daily basis, that should tell you within a short time, if you visit the hospital, services will have been paid for, all those who will not have been done, people will have gone home. If you go to the court system, you will have ended up making payment in order to get services done. All this has gone up. So it is a critical issue that needs to be resolved.
But again,
so indeed, money has been lost in this, but that's just that it cannot be quantified immediately in monetary terms.
But again, also tells you how vulnerable the country can be if situations of this nature repeats itself in the future. As we go forward, I know that you've been following this net discussion. From your own point of view, what should be done now? Now there is a hold on the attempt to sell off the hotels, and then the one who won the bid has also pulled out. Going forward, how do you think this matter must be handled?
In fact, this is a wake-up call for us to look at the entire pensions regulatory management.
Right.
If you look at, for instance, NPRA, there are restrictions as to where you can invest your money in terms of the Tier 3 pension scheme and then Tier 2, where you can invest. So there are cappings. I think that it is time for us to look at that also for SSNIT, where we can regulate what assets SSNIT can invest in and what assets SSNIT cannot invest in. So that when there is this capping, then this will not come with these issues. Because right now, SSNIT has the mandate to choose which investment to make. But when there are restrictions, then it regulates and guides as to what needs to be done. This hula baloo wouldn't have happened. And so this is a wake-up call for us to look at the entire SSNIT system to see what can be done to regulate it properly going forward, so that it will not be left in the hands of few individuals as well. And I think that this is also a wake-up call for us to look at the composition of some of these institutions,
right,
where we should not allow government to appoint managers of these institutions, especially the leaders. I'm talking of the MDs. We shouldn't have workers the leaders being appointed by the government. I think it should go through the normal process where right people will be appointed into these institutions so that decision-making will follow some process.
And